Hey everyone, Tara's back again. What's this now? Week 9 of lockdowns? In September, maybe? I mean, at this point, time has little meaning. Even I've managed to get my both of my clinical stabbings. So, if everyone else could also get that in New South Wales, I think it's 55% of us, that would be great. Um, we all want to get out of the house and go to the beach. We all want to be able to actually enjoy ourselves with a modicum of security. Come on, everyone! It's spring. Let's get the jab. Let's go. Don't take no horse medicine and end up in hospital for a different reason. Don't end up there because it's like, oh yeah, I just don't trust vaccines. Well, the rest of us would like to. So come on, take the plunge, as it were. It's 2 minutes. You're in and you're out. Just get the vaccine. But actually, something cool did happen this week, even though we're all still locked in our apartments. Back earlier in the year, before we got in our big lockdown, I might have mentioned this in some of my earlier videos, we actually had a documentary crew from a TV show they were working on called Mirror Mirror, and they were actually doing a documentary on like body image, how our society shapes our opinions of ourselves and how we can deal with it. And in particular to me, they had a portion towards the end of their first of 2 episodes that was actually focused on my surgical journey for getting FFS. So, surgical journey to facial feminization surgery. So, lots of FFSS. I mean, I'm great now, but like back then, I was a bundle of nerves. Because it's like one thing for people to interview you on something that you feel very strongly about, but also from like a position of strength. So if someone asked you about a friend, family, a hobby, like that's something that you could talk about with some confidence and some stride. But in my case, if they're coming from a place like gender dysphoria, well, it's pretty confronting because you're not necessarily feeling great about it. You could be feeling quite weak about it. I mean, if I was fully confident of my body image and that it matched my true self internally, I wouldn't be getting the surgery. So there's that. I mean, while I had faith in Todd and the production crew, because I got to speak to them a lot before actually agreeing to the interview, and before we signed all these papers and documents, and then they came with me to the surgical theatre and all that kind of jazz. Yeah, I was still a bit worried. My partner was gracious enough to actually watch the documentary before I did, so I held off and just didn't listen to spoilers for a couple of days. And then I started getting messages from everyone else who were unknowingly giving me spoilers about the thing, saying, "Oh, it was great," and I'm like, "Okay, well, don't say too much, but that's great to hear." But yeah, no, I mean, overall, it was actually quite a good thing. Checking to make sure that there was nothing that would be too raw for me to handle, or if the presentation came out or it was unsympathetic in some ways. But no, I mean, it was great. It was like the whole documentary is interesting, but like obviously I had a vested interest in my chunk. I mean, speaking of raw, however, they do have some footage of like my exposed skull. They don't hold back about that at all. They shave it pretty aggressively. Like when you go to the dentist and there's a little drill, well, there's a lot of drilling because forehead bone is a lot bigger than a tooth, as it were. That being said, there was also some footage that they included of my nose being worked on. They didn't bother to include my chin. That was probably a bit more boring. I don't know. But they also you get to hear my surgeon talking as like overlaid when they talk about my nose being done, and he's giving a little bit of a guide of what's going on. He's a great doctor. Don't tell him that. He's a great doctor though, and a brilliant surgeon. So considering it was a 9.5-hour surgery, if you can imagine being that focused on something for 9.5 hours, I sure as can't. I need a break. It's no wonder you have to pay a chunk of change for surgery like that, because you don't want to make any mistakes in 9.5 hours worth of that and I'm unconscious for it. So fortunately, I wasn't really qualified to do much during that time, and I was just unconscious. So, you know, they give you the needle, you make a silly joke about how, I hope you guys know what you're doing, I'm not really qualified, and then you just sort of click, you're just not there anymore, and then you wake up mummified in bandages. That's the best result you can hope for. I do recommend, if you're not too squeamish about it, the blood's really only for like 10 seconds of it there, and even for the rest of the episode, it's mostly talking about body image and the after effects of surgery, so you don't really see a lot of that. You do get to see a lot of like old footage and some old Facebook stuff from me. It's really cringy, so if you like cringe, which is the part I hated the most, but I mean, it's relevant. You can go and watch that there. And they do like a little collage of that there. I was like, maybe that won't make the cut. That made the cut. But yeah, I'll put the video in the description below. It's just Channel 10's website, but it'll be a bit faster to get there. But yeah, that's all from me. September 2021. Hey, maybe October we'll be able to fly overseas for a holiday. We won't be able to go to Queensland, but we will be able to fly to other parts of the world. Go New South Wales, I guess. Stay safe and hydrate. Bye.